Hello everyone, and welcome to the closing ceremony live stream. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to be going over and looking at some of the amazing projects that you all submitted, and we're going to be looking at some of those videos. It's going to be amazing, and in like 15 minutes, Swift is going to be joining us live, and you can ask him any questions that you have, and we're also going to be looking at some of your demos with him. So that's going to be amazing. Oh, I might want to turn down the background music, I've been told. Is that better? I do want to have some nice groovy vibes going, but I do want you to be able to hear me. Now I can barely hear it at all. Okay, I'm gonna hit, hopefully, the sweet middle ground, which is about there. Let me know if anything's still going wrong, because it's a live stream. Of course, things are going to be a little rocky. But again, oh my goodness, more people are showing up. I've appeased Adam. He says it's perfect. So I think that that is good. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to be looking at some cool projects. So in the Discord, there is a channel called Demo My Hack, and some people have been pasting their Discord links, not their Discord links, their dev post links in there, and that is where I'm going to be pulling from for which hacks we're going to be looking at right here on stream. So if you want to be joining that, go ahead and go to that channel, the Demo My Hack channel, and add your dev post project link. Okay, let me turn off notifications so we aren't getting a ton of Discord noises. And then let's look at our first hack. So this one is called Suave, and I believe if I do this, you should be able to see Suave on screen. So this project is done by Adam Drummond, Vikram, Garvit, and Drummond, and they have a video, and they have some really cool emojis over in their dev post. So let's start by looking at their video. So I'm going to hit play.
What's one technology you always use for hackathons? I'll tell you, it's not a language, not a framework, not a package, but APIs, of course. For hackers, APIs are the heavy lifters that empower them to make amazing things. So why is it so hard to find them? There are also paid promoted APIs which might not be the best fit despite being on the top of your search, and collaborative searching is a joke. All of these problems are solved by Suave, a series of products to search and use APIs very easily. Each Suave product gives results with API titles, descriptions, and links to the API docs. Developers can use our web app, Discord bot, and CLI solutions to find an API for their use. They can sort the APIs by category and search for what they want on our web app like so. They can also use our Discord bot and the list command to get all the categories, the category command to get APIs in a category, and the use command to get APIs for their use case. Lastly, the CLI has all the previous functionality along with an exclusive Gina AI based search which can better their search for APIs.
I'm just going to mute this for a second so we don't get copyright striked.
Additionally, if a developer would like to develop new Suave products, they can view the API docs on our website and implement it into their product. We made this by making an ASP.NET and C# API with a DataStax Astra database with 533 scraped API entries for now. Then, we built 3 different clients based on the API, which are the web app, CLI, and Discord bot.
Oh my goodness. That is extraordinarily cool. Oh, you are perfectly fine for the music. It's a funny joke and the judges are going to love it, but I can't love that on stream. That is an amazing project, Suave. Oh my goodness. That is... I'll be honest, that is a project that I wish that I had when I was starting out hackathons, because I had no clue what APIs to use. That is super, super cool. And you used Gene AI and DataStax, and you had so many different ways of interfacing with it. I think the CLI honestly looked so cool, and I could totally see so many people using that. That is really cool. I also want to look at their dev post itself. Hey, Swift is on his way. Okay. I also want to look at their dev post because if we're looking at this, they have a really fully fleshed out dev post, and it shows that they did a really good job with this. I really love the emojis that they have in all of these lines, because it's funny. Search APIs, thumbs up in a web with the robot. It's a Pictionary or a pictogram. I really like it. I think it's very funny, and I'm sure that this is a ton of cool information. So congrats to the Suave team. That is an amazing demo. And an amazing hack as well. Now let me go into my bag of tricks and pull out our next project that we're going to be looking at. Oh, the music stopped. The music is back. Okay. And I believe we have it, and it is CSS Genex. We're gonna see how that's pronounced in their demo video right now. Dramatic music, I love it. Oh my goodness. I love the music. I love the music so much. I felt like I was running to save the world while like it was collapsing around me while the big evil bad guy was rising up. Amazing, amazing movie soundtrack vibes on that. Okay. And also, going past the amazing music in the demo video, that is a really cool hack. If we scrub... Oh, I'm gonna mute this so we don't keep having that. We're gonna go back to our like chill vibes music. It's gonna be a little bit of whiplash after that. But okay. So, I'll be honest, this is something that I think is so cool because CSS, in my opinion, is one of the like most quirky languages and like things to work with because there's so many small things that can just be like slightly off. I love the different border generators because that's always a pain to work with, and I love they keep coming back to this glassomorphism. I honestly love that effect, and I'm trying to think of where I could use that because that's really cool, and it's really cool that it allows you to pre-generate that and copy that code. I feel like that's such a cool time. Adam, CSS, okay. Maybe it's not a true language, but I think that it is equally complicated. CSS can do math. Wait. This is Adam called me out, and I'm gonna is CSS Turing complete? Shoot, no. CSS is not Turing complete. I was gonna make the argument that CSS could be a full language. I know that it can do math, but I didn't know if it was Turing complete or not. Adam rightfully called me out there. CSS is not a language, but it is super complicated, and I do love that this hack addresses that and helps people to like actually use CSS more easily. I really like this. Thank you guys so much for making this, and I'm really glad that we got to see it. Wait, oh, I'm being told that CSS plus HTML is Turing complete. Oh my goodness, it is. So currently the StreamYard link is not out there. We're waiting for Swift to show up so that he can get in, and then I will post a StreamYard link so you guys can join as well. This right here, the thing about CSS is that you change one small thing, and the next thing you know is your layout has decided to rip itself apart. Wow, sounds like images in Word. Exactly. I feel like all of the people who ever worked with like anything that ever is designed to look pretty has gotten to the exact same point where they're like, okay, it'll look pretty for like half a second. And if you move your mouse 1 pixel over, everything will just completely destroy itself. Center my div. Oh my goodness. That is evil. Vertical centering, I believe they've added extra features to be able to do that more easily, but oh, you can tell that to any web dev and they will immediately freak out. I use CSS templates by other people as much as possible. I totally second that. Like, I personally think that my favorite CSS template system is Bootstrap, which has gotten me to create so many hackathon projects, and it has made it so much easier. Where's Swift? Where's Swift? Swift is on his way. Can I get a drum roll in chat for Swift? Are there drum emojis? I hope that there are drum emojis. Now I'm frantically searching my emojis. Adam, use me as a drum. Okay, drum roll noises. Swift is on his way. Okay, are you guys ready? Oh, there we go. We're getting some drums in chat, so I'm gonna add Swift to the stream. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Good. Ooh, here.
Your microphone is kind of crunchy.
Yes. All right, how about now?
That is perfect. Okay, you're no longer glitching through the matrix.
Amazing. I'm still getting it.
Okay. Is that from me? It is. Aha. There we go. We need to
All right, there we got it.
Okay.
How's it going?
It's going well.
Yeah. Happy birthday, MLH, huh?
Happy birthday, MLH, indeed.
Yeah.
So, for the people who don't know you, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Swift. I'm the CEO and co-founder of MLH. I've been a part of this community now for, over a decade at this point, and it's really funny to think about that, how fast things come along. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here today to chat with everybody and hear about what everybody's been up to this weekend.
Yay! I'm so glad. And for everyone in chat, you have Swift right in front of you. If you have any questions about MLH, about how we founded MLH, about any sort of thing like that, we are, not we, I don't know how to answer this, but Swift is here to answer those questions for you. So if you drop those in chat and we find any that we think are especially cool, we can pull those on to answer those.
Hell yeah. I'm happy to answer any questions about that. We could talk all about MLH's origin stories and all the good stuff that got us here today.
Okay. Well, while we give people time to post those questions, do you want to look at a hack?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. The next one on our list is Project Hub. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know if I can share the audio for this video, because when I share audio of my screen share, it also adds Swift in it. So
okay.
Let me.
I will mute myself.
Wait. Oh yeah. We'll just both mute while we play the video. Okay. So.
Hello everyone, this is our project Project Hub, and you can find it at projecthub.study. And here you can find different demo hacks presented by hackers so that beginners hackers can get inspiration and ideas from the demo reels. Now let's begin the demo. So here I have hacks using Google Cloud. So these are the thumbnails. If I press or hover over it,
Since the start of the pandemic, everyone has been living inside their homes.
we can see the
With
demo
all the
reel.
travel
Or we
restrictions,
can
many
also
tourist spots
right click
which
and
used to be
open video
flooded
in new tab. And it will play the demo reel. Let's pause it here and again go back to the site. So we have different categories like hardware hacks, machine learning hacks, social good hacks, and so on. And we can increase this using AstraDB. So this here is a stock prediction. Here is smart farmer. This is MIDI and so on. So the list goes like this. And if you want to add more data to this, then we can either use the data loader from the data stack Astra, or we can simply use mutation from the GraphQL using the data stack Astra. So this was it. Thank you so much and happy hacking.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Project Hub, thank you for being willing to bring your demo up on stream. That is an amazing hackathon idea. I'm thinking back to when I was a beginner hacker and I would go to these events and I'd see people doing like these really crazy things that I'd never even thought of. That is a super cool idea.
Yeah, it reminds me of that site Hackaday, but for more than just hardware hacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It is. I really like the hover over to play the video. I feel like that's like a mainstay of modern UIs now for video services. So the fact that you implemented that in a hackathon project is super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting some questions in chat. Swift, do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, Rico asked, how did MLH start?
All right, the origin story. I will give the medium length version of this very long story for everybody. Okay, so the very beginning of this story is, when I was in high school, I had never thought about being a programmer before. I always, I wanted to be a lawyer at the time, and back then I was running a landscaping business. When I was in high school, and the time came to go up to university, and I realized that I needed a new job. I couldn't bring a lawnmower to a dorm room, and so I needed to figure out something to do. And so I went on the university's job board, sorted the jobs by how much they paid, and applied for every job that paid the most money, thinking that was a really good strategy. In hindsight, it was a terrible strategy because only one company wrote me back. And I think they must have been somewhat desperate because they hired me as someone who had never programmed before to be the only coder at the company. I literally brought a Teach Yourself PHP in 21 Days book. I brought it in on my first day and literally read it on the job to learn how to code. And I did that for about 2 years and never told anybody about it. It was a great job. Like I learned, a ton doing it. But again, it was just like being a programmer was not on my radar. And about 2 years into it, a friend of mine found out that I coded through kind of weird coincidence. And he came running into my room, burst through my door, and was really excited to tell me about this thing called a hackathon. I never heard of hackathon before. I had no idea what to expect. He described it as this weekend event with all these amazing talented designers and developers and entrepreneurs and makers, and everybody come together and come up with these ideas for inventions and bring them to life. And it sounded to me like something that elite programmers did, not somebody who is a complete beginner like me. But anyway, I decided to go to the event, and I had this life-changing moment, and basically said, forget being a lawyer. I want to be a hacker. And I remember the next day I switched my major to computer science. And so what I really quickly figured out was that the things that you learn in the computer science classroom are not really the things that need to be employable as an engineer. A lot of theory, a lot of things that help you once you've got a job, but actually getting there, I was a little bit missing the applied experience I was getting at hackathons every weekend. So fast forward a bit, hackathons basically became my life. I probably had been to more hackathons than anybody in the world at that time, and the hackathon journey, I guess. I'd started my first company, which was software to help people run hackathons. I landed my dream job as a developer advocate at SendGrid, where I was sponsoring hackathons and empowering developers at them. And a couple years into that journey, I was really loving what was going on in my life, but I felt like I wanted to try my hand at starting another company, and I wanted to find something that had really scalable impact and was really interesting. And so I quit my job. I started selling my last company, and I started working on a new startup idea. I was going to make an open source analytics company. That was my original startup idea. And at the time, I actually found myself honestly quite depressed. Like I had basically lost every connection I had to this community that meant so much to me, right? I wasn't a student, so I couldn't go to the student hackathons I loved. I wasn't organizing events. I wasn't sponsoring them. I wasn't involved in my company anymore. And so, I was talking to a friend about that and explaining how I was feeling. And he suggested that I start a side project as a way to stay involved in the community and round up a bunch of amazing organizers that I knew, and just show up and be a super volunteer and see if I could help make those events awesome and get more people excited about hackathons. And I thought, that sounds like a really interesting idea. And so, that was how MLH was born. It was basically 6 months of moonlighting on a side project. I was sleeping on my co-founder's hotel room floor at the time while he was working at Twilio. And I worked on it for about 5 months. So I was trying to get the other startup off the ground. And I basically ran out of money at the end of it. And I knew I needed to get a new job. And I did the very responsible thing of going on holiday. And I was gone for about a week and came back and checked my email after having been away. And I had about 30 schools, up from about 5 when we started, that had emailed me wanting to be a part of the MLH network. And that was the moment where I was like, okay, this is something I can work on, full time. And so I got a job tutoring to pay my bills, and basically worked on MLH, full time for every other hour I had, for the next couple of years to get it off the ground.
Oh my goodness. That's an amazing story. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Twists
Very,
and turns.
Very happy coincidence. It's like, it was never intentionally to be a company, but I think the thing I love about MLH is that it really is a community organization. And I was fortunate to, when I started, have an audience of thousands of people who also had their lives changed by the same community. And I think that level of passion really helped it spread and grow really quickly, and help it really take on a life of its own.
Oh yeah. It's funny to me to think about you talking about how you going to your first hackathon was a life-changing experience, because literally that phrasing is echoed with every person I've ever talked to. I've said that phrase myself. It's such a universal thing. And I guess from the entire hackathon community, thank you for thinking to found MLH, because it's created such an amazing community.
I got really lucky, and like I said, it's the labor of lots and lots of really passionate people who got us here today. So I'm proud to be a part of it. I really am.
Yeah, you should be, and I think we all should be proud to be able to be a part of this amazing community. Everyone on stream right now, you're a part of this community by doing this hackathon. You're one of the people who's helped make these amazing experiences. And on that wholesome, amazing note, Adam asks, are you drinking out of an MLH mug?
I am. However, the MLH logo has worn off of it, so it's just a regular mug now at this point. But it's my nostalgic MLH mug. I just imagine the logo still on the mug.
It's a homeopathic MLH mug?
Yeah, there you go. It's gone through a bit of overuse over the years, I think.
Let's see. Ooh, what are your thoughts on working for a company versus freelancing?
That's a really good question. So, there was a good chunk of time in my career that I did freelancing, and I also, obviously worked for a couple of different companies, and I think that they have different values for you, and depending on where you are in your career. Now, I'll assume that you mean either 100%, like working for yourself, freelancing to pay your bills, or working for a company 100%. Because you can do both, right? Like, there are situations where you can work for a company and you can freelance on the side on weekends or nights or whatever. But let's assume you're looking at them 100%. The advantages of going to work for a company are that you're going to be surrounded by lots of other people who, have a lot of different skills. You can learn from all of them. You can see how the company works. You can learn about different challenges that organizations face as they grow. At SendGrid, I got to watch them grow from 60 to almost 150 while I was there, right? And that was a really incredible experience to see them change so much, right? Now, there's also a ton of consistency, right? Like, when you have a job and you're working for a company, obviously your paycheck is there. Like, it's there every day. You wake up, you go to your job, and you've made this long-term commitment. But the disadvantages of working for a company, obviously, are flexibility. Like, often And maybe things are changing today in the post-COVID world where you can work remotely or have more flexible hours. But historically, it's been a situation where you have much less flexibility in terms of when and where you work, and the work can be set by someone else, right? Like it's very unlikely you're in a role where you come in and you're the one defining everything you get to work on every day. Now, for freelancing, it's basically the opposite, right? So you do get to define what you work on every day, and you do have a lot more control over what gets done and where and how you work. And you could work from a beach for all anybody cares. Nobody knows the difference, right? But the disadvantages, right, are you have it's a constant. It's a real full-time job trying to find freelance projects, or you have to be really focused on that all the time. And it's really easy to get caught up in whatever project you're doing and forget to be out looking for new business. But that's really important if you're going to have consistent income as a freelancer. And the other thing is, often when you're freelancing, you're doing it alone. And you can find situations where you can freelance in small teams and things like that. But you definitely do not get to experience the same dynamic of, how companies work and what goes on inside them. So I'd say, like, if that stuff is important to you, like maybe you want to be a founder one day, or like, you want to, your dream job is to work at an executive level or a leadership level at a company, then I do think that it's really valuable to, have that company experience, to actually see how all those things work and understand that really intimately. I mean, one of my big regrets before starting MLH is that I really only worked at 2 or 3 different companies before I founded MLH. And, since then I've had to learn how to lead and manage a lot of roles that I've never done before and didn't know people who did. And so it was a lot of figuring it out. But if I had worked at a couple other companies and spent some time learning about, things like marketing and sales, more than just developers and community work, it would have been a really big advantage, when we were getting things off the ground.
Wow, that was I was not expecting that nuanced of an answer. When people describe it normally, it's like, well, you could work for the man, the company, or you could be on a beach freelancing. But yeah, there really are there are a lot of cons to freelancing that it's interesting hearing it from your perspective, because you're one of the people who did it successfully.
There's a lot of pros to it too. I think the kind of freelancing I really always liked was short-term contracts that solve a real problem, right? Like there's maintenance freelancing where you're maintaining something for somebody. There's 0 to 1 type freelancing where you're building something. And there's freelancing where it's the one I really enjoyed was, for a while I was freelancing as a CTO for hire when people had lost their VP of Eng or CTO and were hiring a new one. And so I would come in for a couple of months while they hired a new CTO. I'd lead the team. I would help them interview, and then once they had somebody in place, I would move on to my next contract. And I always really liked those because they had very finite beginnings and ends, and you had to still do all the fun, impactful work of working with people, but you get to move on to something new at some point as well.
That sounds amazing. I didn't even know that was a thing, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really interesting job.
Yeah. My most interesting job I ever had, which is very unrelated to MLH anyway, was I was a food taster for about 3 weeks. I had when I was in college, I was one of the only people I knew that worked full time, and I used to come up with these opportunities for me and all my college friends to go and pick up freelance jobs and things like that. And so we used to clear out houses, and we would hang up flyers. And one time I found this ad for food tasters, and I was imagining that we'd come in and they'd give us a cheeseburger and we'd eat the cheeseburger and tell them about how awesome it was. But actually, food tasting at that level, they give you a bunch of cups of water with different flavoring in them, and you switch it around in your mouth and you rate it salty, sweet, bitter, and whatever down the line, and you do it for 3 hours, and it was awful. It was one of the worst jobs I ever had, but it was very interesting.
Wow, that's again jobs I didn't even know existed.
Yep.
So someone asked in chat, Curious Wiki, what's your most hilarious MLH memory?
My most hilarious MLH memory. That's a good question. I think the one that always gets me is there's this video of my co-founder John, who he was up at a hackathon, must have been at RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, and this group of hackers made a self-driving car in a weekend, which was effectively a bike chain wrapped around a steering wheel with an Arduino controlling the torque on it. And they had a webcam mounted on the dashboard of the car. And in order to demo the project, the judges had to go out and get in the car in the parking lot, and they would drive them around the parking lot. And the look of terror in his face as he was driving around the parking lot of this, self-driving car that literally got made in 36 hours was, one of the most comical MLH moments I can remember for sure.
Oh my goodness, that would be so... Like, on the one hand, I know that people at hackathons create amazing things, and it's amazing that they did that. On the other hand, wow, that's incredibly brave to get into that car.
Yeah, I agree. I think I probably would have done it too, but it was I would have to do some calculus there. The other one I really love is this is actually really interesting. So there's this. So when people think about hackathon projects, they usually think like hardware and software, right? So it's like it's either code and it lives on the web, or it's hardware and it's like microcontrollers or VR headset or like whatever. And there's not really much in between. But there's actually this really interesting class of hacks that actually involve no code and no physical hardware the way you'd think about it. And I remember I was at a hackathon where somebody made a mobile inflatable shower. So for people who are camping or experiencing homelessness, like this was like a thing that you could basically plug into a bathroom sink and turn on the water, and it would inflate and turn into this shower where you could like take a shower in a public restroom, like if you were traveling or like you didn't have a home or whatever. And the demo video, they actually had somebody take the shower on the demo video, and so they got there's somebody and they're like taking a shower and like talking while everybody was like watching this demo. It was really, really like a very interesting hack. Like, it had such an interesting use case. I don't remember how they came up with the idea, but it was like a really, really, really cool project, and it was very interesting to see how they had come up with a project that literally involved none of the things that we would traditionally think as core to a hack.
I would have never thought that. Like, that is one of the things that I really like about hackathons, that you can create a project like that, and even though it seems so out of left field, it totally fits with everything else that was created there. It's not just code. Like,
yeah,
wow.
Really interesting. Really interesting.
I wonder where that went afterward. Like,
I don't think it went anywhere. I think I know the person who is showering now works at Twilio. I know that. But I don't remember who else was on that team, honestly.
Oh my goodness. Well, it was an amazing idea.
Yeah, it was a good one. Really good one.
So we got another question. What's your day schedule like?
That's a really interesting question. So it's a lot of meetings these days, but if I'm really being honest with you, my job changes about every 6 months. So, right now I'm in a period where, well, let me say it. The last 6 months, let's talk about that. The last 6 months was a lot of like heavy project load. So, the MLH has been growing quite a bit, both on the kind of events and community side, as well as the MLH fellowship, which for those who may not be familiar, everybody's here for a hackathon, so I assume you're familiar with that part of MLH's business. But we also run a fellowship program where aspiring technologists can get real-world experience working on actual projects from employers. So open source, closed source. It's very collaborative, happens over 12 weeks. It's cohort-based, heavy focus on mentorship and education and building your professional network. It's a really cool program. But anyway, we had a new tracker that launched this summer called the production engineering track. We basically teamed up with Facebook to train about 100 technologists in DevOps and site reliability engineering skills this summer. And so my last 6 months have been really heavily on helping grow that and really expand the work that MLH is doing. We're doing a bunch of hiring. Now I feel like I feel like I went through a bit of a shift a couple weeks ago where now I'm transitioning into a lot of forward-thinking planning. So, it is a lot of meetings with the team about what everybody's working on and thinking about our future and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it changes every 6 months. And I think that's something that I really love and appreciate about my job. It's, I'll be honest with everybody, I don't write code very often anymore day to day, but I do a lot of Excel programming, which sounds like those two words would never go together, but actually I spend a lot of time writing basically functions in Excel that help us with reporting and analysis and those types of things. A lot of projection work, financial modeling.
MLH runs on really well-designed spreadsheets.
Yes, there's this adage that I had. This is going to sound ridiculous in our community to say this, but when we first started MLH, my adage was, we don't write code until we've proven that whatever we're doing works. And which sounds like so unintuitive of a bunch of developers like working on something. But at my last company, literally we had written code before we knew what the problems were often. And so we'd spend all this time writing code and building these features or like things for our community that they didn't actually want or need. And so our philosophy at MLH has always been, hack them together with spreadsheet and Zapier and whatever else we need to make something come together, like very low code. And this has been going on for years. This is like before that even happened. And then once we hit a point where something actually is working and scaling, then we invest in code. And so like some classic examples of that are the hardware lab. So for any of you who had been to MLH events when they were in person, right? MLH used to bring, a pallet of hardware that anybody could hack on and just use during the event. And
Presented
the
by
original
DigiKey.
hardware lab, what's that?
Presented by DigiKey.
It presented by DigiKey. It was, yes, it was at this time when this happened, it was not yet presented by DigiKey.
Oh, okay.
But yes, you're correct. Anyway, like the original hardware lab was literally like a WordPress like form submission thing that me and John hacked together, as simply as possible. And then once it was working and we proved it was a good idea, then we invested in writing code that helped us run that hardware lab. And so there's like a bunch of things like that where it's like we start with a really easy spreadsheet or a low code mockup or even a static website and take it from there.
That is a really interesting design philosophy. Like, it makes sense because there are so many tools for that.
Yep.
I never thought about the reasons why you would do that. Thank you for sharing that. That's a really cool. I think a lot of people can take something away from that outside of just a cool MLH story.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned this earlier that your last 6 months were a lot of hiring and scaling with fellowship things and stuff like that. And then you talked about how your current period is talking about what growth is happening with MLH. So we had a question in chat. What is next for MLH?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of very interesting stuff happening. I think the things I can talk about that I'm most excited for is, number one, MLH is working on a return to in-person for all of the hackathons in the community right now. It doesn't mean we're going to go head first in and we're not going to have digital events in places where it's not safe to gather in person yet, but we are working hard on making sure our staff and our resources are ready for the inevitable return to this community gathering together in real life. And I think a lot of that is going to start this fall, and we're going to be working closely with local health authorities to make sure that the places where there are physical events, it's again safe to do so. But I'm really excited. I'm going to my first hackathon in person in more than a year and a half in early August, and so I think this is the start of things coming back to what they were before. I think the really interesting thing we learned in all this, though, is that the digital stuff is really important and it needs to be here to stay, and it enables anybody in the world to join our community any day of the week that they want to. And so, my vision for where we're going here is that we have virtual events every single weekend. So, if you're in an area that doesn't have access to an MLH hackathon locally in person, you can still join us. And then, the rest of it is in-person gatherings so that local communities know what you can come in and support. So I think that's one, is that return to in-person. The other thing we're working on that's really interesting is, obviously the fellowship has become a bigger and bigger deal at MLH, and we've been really working on growing that program. I mean, the demand from the community is still exponentially larger than the capacity we have. So, we get 30,000 applications for 300 spots, which, is an indicator of how impactful of an experience that is. And frankly, MLH has always had this problem. Our community has grown faster than the resources we have to go to support everybody. And so we're working hard on scaling that program. Right now, there's a new program we're calling the pre-fellowship that's going on. It's a 4-week program instead of 12. And so basically, it's like a taste of the fellowship, or so to speak. So for people who are thinking about it, want to try it, they can do this 4-week experience. And assuming that things go well in this pilot, we want to run it way more consistently. So there'll be opportunities for anybody to come in, try it out, and ideally it'll become a major part of the funnel we use to actually find fellows for future programs as well. So interesting work happening there. The fellowship is back this fall. Applications are actually open right now if anybody's interested in applying. I know the admissions team is literally just hitting their stride this week, so I would expect that if you apply in the next couple of weeks, you'll be in really good shape. But yeah, that's back, and I think last but not least, we've got Hackcon coming up. So for all of our community leaders and organizers out there, we run this annual conference where we bring together all the people who plan all the events and lead all the communities in the MLH network. And we do a weekend of thought leadership and best practices and networking. And that's coming up in mid-August. I think the dates are the 13th to the 15th, I want to say, something like that. We can confirm on the calendar here.
14th through the 15th is what's on my calendar.
Great.
So probably
yes.
13th through 15th.
Yeah, I think there's a kickoff on the 13th. So yeah, it's coming up, and if you're interested in, if you organize an event, you lead a community, or you're thinking about doing that, I would absolutely encourage anybody to head out and check out Hackcon as well.
Well, there we go, everyone. You just got from the man himself the future of MLH laid out in front of you. Thank you. That's a really cool. It's really cool to see that kind of game plan, that future-looking perspective on an organization like MLH, because it is so community-oriented. It's nice to know as a part of the community what's happening and what's happening behind the scenes. Speaking of which, this question wasn't asked in chat, but it's a question that I have for you. So I know that MLH is a B Corp, and can you talk a little bit about, like, for people who don't know what that means, why you chose it, and kind of about that process?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the best decisions I ever made for MLH, honestly, like looking back, and it's so obvious, but yeah, when we started the company, I actually didn't know about B Corps. So when I was in school, I was thinking about my career. There was basically this like pull in two different directions. If you wanted to do work that was good for the world and made an impact, you went and go work at nonprofits with charities, like that type of thing. And if you wanted to make money or like work for a real company that had customers and provided value, like you went and worked in the for-profit world. And there was really no in between. And B Corps are this idea that that's actually false, and that you can both have a company that is mission driven and does good things for the world, while also being a real company that can give out equity to employees, has a real business and customers that see value and are not just giving you money out of the kindness of their hearts. And for a company like MLH, where we are mission driven and we are community first, and frankly, the work we do makes a tremendous impact on so many people, it is an opportunity for us to be able to put a flag in the sand and say, this is what we stand for and what we do, and how we measure our success beyond just the idea of making money. And at the same time, though, it allows us to incentivize our employees with equity and give them ownership over what they do every day. It allows us to really focus on building a business that customers frankly count on, and that they see immense amount of value from. But it's like this middle ground, this happy medium between these two ideals that frankly are complete opposition of its head, and it's really this things that says that you can be good for the world and build a real business. And there's a lot of great B Corps out there. I mean, Ben & Jerry's, Warby Parker, I know Etsy was one for a long time, Kickstarter, Patagonia, they all have real businesses, but they also do really good work in the world. And I think that's exactly what I want for MLH too, right? I want to tell people what we stand for, and be able to talk about the impact we make and how many lives we change every year, and really make sure that's front and center for the entire lifetime of the company.
That is really cool to be able to say that about the MLH, because it is, it's the company and the community, it all kind of comes together. It's really nice that there's a structure for that.
Yeah, honestly, we started it as just a straight up limited liability company, because obviously we didn't know what we were doing yet. We were figuring it out. We told this story before. MLH started as a side project more than it started as a company. And we figured out about B Corps, a couple years into that journey. And like I said, I think it was one of the best decisions we ever made. And MLH is both a B Corp, and a public benefit corporation, which are slightly different but related things. So a public benefit corporation is a legal entity that is registered with the state of Delaware. Basically, it's like a type of company registration, and the difference between us as any other company is that our mission statement to empower hackers is written into our bylaws, and we have a reporting accountability legally where we have to talk about our impact to that mission. Now, we're also a certified B Corp, which is a different thing, which is this nonprofit called B Labs. Basically, they do regular auditing and certification of companies who want to be mission-driven, impactful organizations. And so we go through this rigorous process where we get evaluated every 2 years on everything from our environmental impact, through our corporate policies, through how well we actually pursue that mission day to day. And so MLH is both a public B Corp, a public benefit corporation legally, registered with the state of Delaware, and then we also are a certified B Corp that's audited by B Labs as well.
That is super cool to know that there's that sort of infrastructure around it. That's really cool. So, okay, transitioning from that really cool, wholesome content, did anyone bake a cake for MLH's birthday?
I don't think there was a cake. Not that I can remember this year, but I think in past years we have had the cake, but not this year. I think my co-founder John is an avid baker and has often been responsible for baking the cake. So I think we need to take this up with him as to why there was no cake baked this year.
That is amazing. Okay. And with that, that is, I believe, the last question that we can take today, because it is 11:30. So thank you so much, Swift, for coming on to join us live and answer these questions. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And really thank you everybody who came out today. Really appreciate all the questions. It was a lot of fun hanging out, and we got to see a hack too, which is awesome. And yeah, I'm really happy to have everybody a part of the community, and happy birthday, MLH.
Happy birthday, MLH, indeed. Well, okay. With that, I am also going to turn to a pumpkin. We're going to go into the back, we're going to finish up judging, and then we're going to be coming back later and announcing the winners. So keep an eye out on the Discord and on the Twitch, and we will see you soon. Thank you guys so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello.
How's everyone else doing? I'd love to get just a little bit of highs or your favorite emoji or something in the chat.
Get
Some
beats.
excitement. Maybe some cakes
Ooh, cakes would
or
be good.
candles.
Do we have a cake emoji? Oh, there we go. Cake emojis in chat.
Fantastic. Damn, that's a lot of people here.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Welcome everyone to the final closing ceremony. We're going to be announcing the winners soon. Woo! Cakes in the chat.
Woo! All right. I mean, it seems like we got a good amount of friends here now. So,
Oh yeah.
Nathan, you ready to get started?
Let's get started.
All right, cool. So, welcome to everyone to the closing ceremonies of Hacky Birthday MLH. First, I just want to give a big thank you to, everyone here. We really can't have a hackathon without the hackers, and we wouldn't really get and all the hackers won't get much help if it weren't for the mentors, and we wouldn't even know who the winners were if it weren't for the judges. So, thank you, everyone. You're all the best. And in this hackathon, we had over 275 people come for the celebration of MLH's birthday, which is a lot of fun. And with 275 people, we had over 70 plus projects submitted. That's super impressive. I'm glad to see that everyone here is celebrating a birthday by doing a hackathon. I mean, what other better way could you celebrate a birthday?
I don't know.
With that being said, let's get right into the sponsored prizes. Nathan, you want to start off with the little list of prizes that we have to give?
Oh yeah, so you guys know, we saw it at the beginning, but we have the best use of Google Cloud where you're getting a Google Cloud swag bag or backpack. We have the best domain name from domain.com where you're getting a Power Square Qi wireless phone charger. We have the best GitHub Octocat drawing that people were submitting on Twitter that looked amazing. We have the best domain name from the GoDaddy registry where you get a hack from HomeKit. And we have the best hardware hack presented by DigiKey, which you get a Grove beginner kit. We also have the best use of DataStax Astra, which is a blue snowball microphone, and the best use of Gina AI, which you get an Arduino Tiny Machine Learning Kit, plus a local Hack Day fanny pack and Hackcon Ducky tees.
Pretty sick prizes. And with that being said, how about we get started with the first prize, which is the best domain registered with domain.com, which goes to...
Drumroll.
Jarvis Voice Assistant. Very interesting name. I think the best part, the Jarvis Voice Assistant name is nothing related to their super creative domain registered, which is I hate to study. So I
love it.
That's good. Oh wait. Isn't I hate to study didn't domain.com change their URLs recently from .tech to from .study to .tech only? We'll get back to that, and I'll keep you all posted. I'm pretty sure someone could have just mistyped that in, but let's keep going.
It's an amazing domain. So
Nathan, you got this one.
The best use of Google Cloud, which is, drumroll please, AltSite. It's an amazing project that made great use of Google Cloud. I loved watching their demo, and I'm super happy.
And hardware hacks. I always love looking at hardware hacks or seeing them because, especially with remote hackathons, you don't really get as many hardware hacks. But this time we actually had a lot. We had a solid 10 projects that were all hardware related, which is super dope. And the winners for these are... First one is Let's Play Guitar. Some really cool team decided to make a guitar using an Arduino board and just electronics in general, which I think is super cool. And the second super cool project was Randomize, which is a random dice. I love the name there. It's quite clever. But this one was also really cool. It uses an Arduino to essentially randomize a number that you get. So you click a button, it does it feels like you're like a casino or something, and it'll select a random number between 1 and 6, which is pretty cool.
Next, we have the best domain name from the GoDaddy registry, and this prize goes to, drumroll.
Wait, that's probably what
Oops.
happened here. where the dot study was for this one. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure dot tech was
Then we will be getting back to you for the bestdomain.com
I
prize.
wish I had this on here. Oh right. So I have it here. The domain.com one, which goes to Celeb Wish, which is actually the complete opposite of I hate to study. It is I learn new.tech, which is
There we go.
that's a little fix there. We're sorry about that. It's been
But
a long morning
both
for us.
amazing domain names. Thank you guys so much for creating those. They made us smile when we were judging. They got a nice chuckle.
And let's keep moving forward. So we got the best use of data text Astra, which has a super dope price of a microphone, which is amazing. And the project winner here is Hackmate. Who doesn't like looking at finding new, mates at hackathons? And if you want to do that, you can use Hackmate.
Next, we have the best use of Gina AI. It's a really cool software that allows you to do a lot of interesting things with search. And the winner for Gina AI goes to Suave, which was a really cool project. I love that their name is both an acronym and a word. We saw them actually, their demo live on stream earlier today. Amazing project that allows you to search and find APIs.
Lots of excitement in the chat, I see there. And lastly, we do for sponsors, we have the My Octocat winner. There were some really, really cool drawings for this weekend. I saw some cakes on there that were shaped like MLH. There was, I believe, a candle that looked like an Octocat. So overall, y'all really popped off for this weekend. But there was this really, really good drawing that I really liked, which is by, I really hope I don't butcher this handle completely, but it's Dibya Yansika. I totally messed that up, but I'm gonna hope that's like an acronym of some names combined. But look at this amazing drawing. So
It's so good.
clearly we have an artist in our community, or multiple artists, in fact, and you can see that there's just every little mascot and Peep the little Blahaj in the corner.
I love it so much.
This drawing is so impressive. You got Ellie, Ducky, Bit the Bot, Crypto the Chameleon. Frankie's also on there, and of course Octocat. It's just so impressive. Yeah,
yeah.
So pretty cool drawing. I could definitely see someone using this as like a phone background or something.
I actually might.
All right, and now we're moving forward from all the sponsored prizes to the specific MLH prizes. So Nathan, you want to show off the amazing prizes we have for this weekend?
Oh yeah. So you guys saw these in the opening. You guys have been hyped the entire time. First place is getting a Fire 7 tablet along with that amazing MLH swag. That winner pin, you know it, you love it. Second place overall is getting Anker Soundcore wireless earbuds and that good MLH swag. And third place is getting an Anker PowerCore portable charger along with that swag. We also have two categories that are separate from the first, second, and third, and that is your first hackathon birthday, which is for beginner teams with over 50% beginner hackers, and they are winning a Fujifilm Instax cameras along with the MLH swag. And then we also have the best hack for hackers, which they get Snapdean S5C drones and MLH swag.
Lots of swag, and
Lots of swag.
Let's get right into your first hackathon birthday prize. So this was obviously for all the new hackers that we had in for this hackathon, and I love to see that there were so many new hackers. So you all did a great job, and I'm excited, glad to see that you're ready to join the community. So the winner of this prize goes to Mask Pass. Honestly, super impressive project for your first hackathon. I don't know why you didn't join earlier, but congratulations.
Next, we have our best hack for hackers. This is the hack that makes other hackers' lives better, and the winner of this category is, drumroll, CSS Gen X. We also saw this one live on stream. It's a really cool template tool that allows you to create CSS elements. They were showing off messing with borders and shadows, and oh, I'm blanking on it. It's glass basically in your your code, in your user interfaces, so you can slightly see through elements. It was a super cool project, and I honestly want to use it myself going forward. So I'm so glad they won Best Hack for Hackers.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, hey, to be honest, like this, so many hackers could use this. Like,
So many.
it's 2 a.m. You're like, I need to add some CSS on there. Let me just go on this, do some toggling, and be like, oh, that's what I want it to look like, and just put it on your website, and it's gonna look amazing, which is so cool. All right, and moving forward to third overall, we're down to the overalls. You know, everyone here had some really cool projects, and third overall goes to Mask Pass again. So as I said, really impressive project. I don't know why they didn't join the community earlier, but we're glad you did, and keep up the great work.
Second place overall is going to go to Agent Bucky. It's a super cool project that provides you a duck that you can talk to help solve your coding problems, and it's super cute and super amazing, and it's a really cool hardware hack.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so cute. I was like, oh, this is so much fun. You just like talk to Agent Bucky with this cute little voice, and yeah, it was a lot of fun to look at. And lastly, we have first overall, which we get a little drum roll for. And the winner is Burn Team mobile app. Great project. I thought, there's so many cool projects, but and in fact, all the judges were talking about how it's so hard to pick the top 3 because there are so many good hackathons or so many different projects. But congratulations, y'all did a fantastic job, and we'll be sending out prizes pretty soon.
Again, congratulations, everyone. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're doing this, you learned, you met people, like, that is amazing. And by being here, you get an I demoed sticker because you submitted a demo of your project. And these I demoed stickers are amazing. You get them for every hackathon that you demo at, and you can tile them across your laptop. And I've seen people with so many of them. They're super cool. Make sure you fill out that address form that is floating around the Discord so you can make sure you get these. If you filled it out in the past, you're good. And if you demoed, you are definitely getting one of these.
Right. So, as you just said, you got to fill out those address forms. And right on board is, if you're here, don't forget, if you haven't already signed up for that celebration, which is at Hackpack/Hacky Birthday, MLH. And when it comes to swag, you have to check out Hackpack/Birthday Check-in. This is where you're going to submit that address form information, and then that lets us know, where to send all the amazing goodies. So the fun does not end this weekend. We do have a lot more fun coming up for basically the rest of the year. And next week we have selfie hacks. So maybe we'll be seeing a bunch of different AR, or just a bunch of different filters, I guess. Maybe do like Snapchat or Spark AR. So I'm excited to see what different ideas you come up with. Next weekend.
I'm gonna be there, and I'm so excited to see all of you guys there as well.
Right, wasn't that supposed to be your debut hackathon?
It was. So this was actually a quick rescheduling. So you're going to see me there. You're going to see me probably at opening ceremony. It's going to be super fun. I'm looking at you. Yes, you personally. I want you personally to be there.
All right. And after that, we have RoboHacks, which I'd assume is related to a bunch of robots, which is kind of funny because I don't see any robots on this drawing. But, I could be totally wrong. I think there's this other hackathon. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I totally misjudged what the theme was for like a solid day and a half, and everyone was like, I think it's actually this, and I was like, oh, you could definitely be that makes a lot more sense than what I was thinking the whole time. So
no matter what, it's going to be a fun hackathon though.
Yeah, that's all that matters. And lastly, we have Slam Dunk Hacks, which is basketball, and if anyone knows me, I like basketball, so I'm super excited for this hackathon, and I'm super excited to see a bunch of different basketball hacks for that weekend. Okay, cool. So, once again, thank you so much. I had a blast this weekend. It was a lot of fun talking to you all. I had fun during Hacker Hangout as well. So, congratulations to everyone.
Indeed.
Nathan, you got any final words?
Oh, just again, a huge thank you specifically for you for coming, because this community only works when hackers participate, and you being here, you're a part of the community, and whether you won or not, I hope you learned something, I hope you met cool people, and I hope to see you again in the hackathon in the future.
Cool. So that's it for all of us in this weekend, and we'll catch you later. Peace.